He lived with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. He was a good little monkey and he was always
very curious.
Today George was in the
Big city.
Let's stop here, his friend suggested. I would like to get you a holiday surprise before
We see the sights.
George loved surprises. He wanted.
And a surprise for the man with the yellow hat.
Why? There was a whole pile of surprises, all ready to go. Would one of these be?
But for the man with the yellow hat.
George was.
Curious.
He opened the box and peeked inside. The box was.
Empty.
That was not a.
Good surprise.
George opened another box and another.
And another.
And they were all.
Empty.
Suddenly the store clerk came running. Stop, please, he cried. You are ruining my.
Display.
But George did not want to stop. He wanted to go. He wanted to get away fast. Quickly he climbed up on the escalator. George went up and the clerk.
Went up too.
What George wanted now was to find his friend. And what luck. George spotted a yellow hat on the.
Escalator.
Going
Maar
down.
dat was een meisje.
Could that be his friend?
Dat was een
Yeah,
meisje.
klopt. George wanted to find out. Soon he was going down too. George followed the yellow hat out of the store around the corner. He chased it
Down upstairs.
down some stairs. Where could his friend be going? Was this George's surprise? No, this was the
Subway.
subway. George got on the train just in.
Zijn.
He thought maybe his friend was playing a.
Een game met hem.
But where was the man now? George looked around. The train was
Kwaai.
crowded. Could that be him on the other end of the subway car? It might be hard to get there, but not too hard for.
A little monkey.
And suddenly the train stopped. And when the doors opened, the yellow hat disappeared. George followed as quickly as he could. But he was too late. This was not a surprise after all. This was
It's a mistake.
a mistake. The yellow hat was nowhere to be seen. Poor George, he was all
Alone in the city.
in the big city. How would he ever find his friend now? Soon George could see nothing but legs. He was surrounded by a crowd of moving people, and he had to keep himself moving so that he would not get stepped on. Then George heard a woman's voice coming from the head of the crowd. Going up, she said. Up! That was just what George.
Niet
He needed to be high up, like in a.
joy of aan de escalator.
Or on the escalator, heel goed. Then he could get a good look around. George joined the crowd as they got into the elevator and went up. Here was a good.
George zit helemaal daar.
Yeah,
Maar die mensen
klopt. Here was a good lookout. From up here, George could see a bridge, lots of tall buildings, and
a little lady standing near the fountain.
a little green lady. And wie is that? Is that the Statue of Liberty?
Just liberty.
It's time to go, called the woman from the elevator. We have lots more to see. The crowd followed the woman. They wanted to see more. And George
And him.
wanted to see more too. Soon George was on a big bus driving through the city. There was lots more to see. But no matter where George looked, he did not see the man with the yellow hat. Back on the bus, George looked and looked. And finally he saw something familiar. George was excited. He rushed inside. He was sure to find his friend here. Instead, he ran right into the clerk. You're just the one I've been looking for to help me fix this mess. Kom op, even opletten. George felt bad. He had not meant to make such a mess. Could he help rewrap? George took some ribbon in one hand, some paper in another, and some tape in a third. Soon, like only a monkey can, George wrapped the boxes. Good job. Soon a crowd gathered to watch. Everyone wanted George to wrap their boxes too. And just as George tied his 25th quadruple bow, he spotted his at last. George was happy. Toen was hij nog happy, weet je nog. But when he saw the man was carry a present, George became a bit sad. He had forgotten all about finding a surprise for his friend. But then he had an idea. George, exclaimed the man with the yellow hat. What a good
surprise.
His friend was very glad to see him. I've been looking all over the store for you, he said. And now I have a surprise for you too. And what did George see? George opened his surprise and put it on. It fit perfectly. Now we're ready to see the sights, the man said. George held tightly to his friend's hand and everyone waved goodbye. Let's be careful not to get separated again, said the man with the yellow hat as they left the store. The best part of Kijk eens even naar mij, of naar die. The best part of holidays is spending time together. George, the end. Ja, leuk verhaal toch niet? Nou, gaan we lekker slapen? Slaap lekker, lieve schat. Doen we een kus voor het slapen gaan? Dag, lieve schat. Ook nog, hè?